In many ways, it's easy to simply dismiss Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee out of hand. Pokemon Go was such an all-encompassing, pervasive, unavoidable cultural phenomenon that there was naturally hipster backlash against it. It became a baby game for casual gamers rather than the brilliant, perfect match of technology and IP that the game actually was. I have never walked more in my life than the summer of 2016. I'd go on Pokemon Go walks at 3 in the morning just to hatch some eggs. It's very unhealthy behavior, and thankfully I didn't get stabbed at any stage or walk into any walls, though I did nearly fall down a hill once playing Pokemon Go, but that's neither here nor there. Good game. And I'd imagine I'm far from alone in that. I should get back into Pokemon Go, that game rules. So the Let's Go games, spin-offs that deviate from the formula and appeal to more casual players, were never going to light the world on fire. Some of which for a good reason. Nobody that plays these games will think they are revolutionary, groundbreaking games that you will never forget or put in your Game of the Decade lists. Pokemon games have never been the most difficult in the world, so the idea of making them a little easier and a little more approachable almost seems impossible. Though when you think of a newcomer looking at the complex web of systems, background systems, Pokemon types, hundreds of moves, status effects, special abilities, items, held items, Z-moves, Mega Evolutions, not to mention 1,000 playable characters, Pokemon has become an approachability nightmare. You can work it all out, but if you're not coming in with knowledge of previous games, there's so much there to get your head around. Scaling it back to the original 150, reeling in some of the systems, and making a back-to-basics Pokemon game that incorporates some of the elements of Pokemon Go to suck in those players wasn't the worst idea in the world. Equally though, we've already revisited Gen 1 a few times now. We saw how it evolved after Red and Blue in Gold and Silver, and played those again in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and those original adventures in Kanto were already revisited in the tremendous Fire Red and Leaf Green. There is an argument that we've had enough of Gen 1 already. This game does get a slight out there. It's not a remake of Red and Blue, but rather a loose remake of Yellow, allowing you to capture all these starters as well as battle Team Rocket throughout. So I guess it sorta gets away with it. However, the simple fact is, those original 150 carry more cultural cash than any other Pokemon. More people know what a Voltorb is than a Meowstic. Sorry, Meowstic. It's nothing against you. It's just Voltorb is basically a Pokeball Pokemon, and the Pokeball is iconic. And it's also a Gen 1 Pokemon, so more people play that game, probably. Those 150 were central to the success of Pokemon in the first place, and equally central to the success of Pokemon Go. If you're making a new entry point to the series, that's where you start. But here's hoping, not where they finish. I like this game a lot. I bought Let's Go Eevee, by the way, because Eevee is amazing and adorable and fluffy. Pikachu has nothing on Eevee. Plus, this Eevee can't evolve, but most Eevees can evolve into so many other Pokemon, and Pikachu's just a Raichu. So I guess he has a Alolan Raichu, and then he rides on his pancake tail. That might even it out a little. All of that is neither here nor there. Many of the changes or additions they made to this game are fantastic. The most notable is the fact that they completely changed the way catching Pokemon works to line up closer with Pokemon Go. Pokemon appear on the map in place of traditional random encounters. Not only does that serve to add vibrant life to each and every environment, with different Pokemon spawning everywhere, letting you specifically chase the one you're looking for, and adding tons of color to each route, but it also just removes the frustration of random battles, both in terms of trying to find specific Pokemon and trying to get somewhere quickly. You can blitz right through a cave or a forest from start to finish without having to worry about being slowed down. It should be the future direction of the series, main series, or spin-off. The mechanics of catching have been changed too to closely mirror Go, though honestly it feels a lot like a more fleshed out version of the way catching Pokemon used to work in the Safari Zone. Perhaps why the Safari Zone doesn't appear in this game. I guess it would kind of be redundant because the whole world is the Safari Zone now. The best thing about this is catching and battling Pokemon are now two completely different experiences. The worst is the finicky motion controls. They're fine when the Pokemon stands perfectly still in front of you, but can become a bit of a nightmare anytime they actually move. I've spent far too much time in my life missing Pokeballs at Pokemon who just constantly veer from side to side. Even when I throw a berry at them to calm them down, they're still super anxious. I guess they don't want to be caught in the ball and enslaved forever. That's understandable. The system probably needs a little more refinement and depth, but honestly, I don't mind the idea of catching Pokemon without battling them. HMs continue not to exist, thank goodness, replaced by partner moves. You can pet and feed your Eevee and it's adorable. Your Pokemon follow you around the world and occasionally interact with the environment, but more importantly, you can ride on the back of certain Pokemon and soar effortlessly over the routes, and it's absolutely amazing. You should be able to fly on Pokemon in every game. Even if it's not a Pokemon game, just put an Aerodactyl in there. You can fly on your Aerodactyl across the Breath of the Wild map. I'm sure there's a mod for that. The core RPG battling system remains relatively the same. You choose moves and attack the other Pokemon and they attack you, but they remove stuff like abilities and held items just to make it a little more approachable and easy to understand. There is a very difficult question to answer though, and honestly a question I don't think I can answer. How does this experience hold up, nostalgia removed? It's bright, it's pretty, it's colourful, the Pokemon designs are still amazing, it's a great RPG, and the basic Pokemon formula is timeless, but so much of my feelings for this game are tied up in 20 years of childhood memories. There are some nitpicks like how you can only use a single Joy-Con, or how your Jolteon occasionally becomes overly obsessed with fountains, but the moment I hear the Pallet Town theme song, it takes me right back to playing Pokemon Red as a 7-year-old at a time when Pokemon took over my school and my life. That Kanto world was such a fundamental building block of my experience playing video games that I can't separate those feelings playing through this again. Every town and city, bonking my way through Rock Tunnel, walking the now bicycle-less cycling road, battling the likes of Brock and Misty, making my way all the way to the Elite Four. Every nook and cranny of that world feels like home. Warm, familiar, and welcoming. They say you can't go home again, but Pokemon Let's Go disproves that. It rebuilds home with a new coat of paint and a couple of fresh ideas, and leaves it there waiting for you once again. No matter how many new Pokemon there are, new worlds to explore, or new ideas introduced, that Kanto map and those 150 Pokemon will endure. A thank you Game Freak was trending this week as a response to the horrible toxicity of a portion of the Pokemon community who are currently very mad online. Consider this my entry. Thank you Game Freak for building a world I will always carry with me. Thank you so much for watching, playing back through this. Man, it hits me in all the nostalgia feels. I really hope they do Let's Go JoJo. As much as I love Gen 1, Gen 2 are objectively better games. You can follow me on Twitter at GarkDJ or TTKIDNEY. You can look forward to some Sonic and Mario at the Tokyo Olympic Games content coming soon. If you are partial to doing such a thing, leave a like, a subscribe, comment about what Pokemon meant to you. On your left, my preview of Pokemon Sword and Shield. On your right, my review of Untitled Goose Game. Thanks for watching.